strongly.
Close your eyes and just concentrate on the sound of my voice.
This was always, acting has always been something that I've wanted to do, you know, and obviously I've dabbled in it a little bit with like the music videos and everything, and with every music video I've tried to kind of, when the opportunity arises, I've tried to push it a little more, but I wanted to do like a full-on acting gig, you know, where it's like a character who's not me, and so I was a little envious of Clown, because we were both pitched that. I was actually supposed to be in that, and my schedule was such that I couldn't do it. So I was really bummed, but I was stoked for Clown that he got to do it. So so that kind of made me kind of take a look around and go, man, when the right opportunity arises, I'm definitely going to try and go for it. So luckily I got to do this.
Where are you? I need you to tell me what you see.
Everything really appealed to me, to be honest. I mean, I was lucky to get this gig to begin with, because it was originally offered to Robert from Metallica. Yeah, because he and Rob Hall, the director, are friends. But Robert, luckily or unluckily, was doing stuff with Metallica, so schedule-wise it couldn't work. And he said, who would be your second choice? Who would you want to work with? And luckily Rob said me. So Robert put he and I in touch together, and you know, the rest is history. Literally a week and a half from the time I got the script, I was on set. So I mean, it was, everything ruled, you know. I mean, the script was great. My part was just creepy enough that I was like, all right, this could be fun, you know, because I'm described as rapey in the script. So I grew a mustache for it, like gave myself a really gnarly, weird haircut, and I just kind of played it for what it was worth, you know. And then being surrounded from everyone from Robert Englund to Fiona Dourif, Thomas Dekker, I mean, you kind of get handed a great cast. I didn't have worries. I was just like, even if I suck, they'll carry the film for me, you know. You know, the great thing was, I mean, obviously we'd never met, but then we met the day I showed up on set was one of the days they were filming off location. So they were downtown in Ohio. And you know, so I'm meeting him and his son for the first time, you know, and his son's got a couple of scenes in the movie as well, so, which was really cool. So we're kind of hanging out, and we realized it's like, so we kind of had a really good like repartee going, that then lent itself to the scenes that we were in, you know. We just started hanging out and talking and kind of bouncing stuff off each other, and we, you know, it was just a lot of fun. And he's such a great dude, you know. I mean, I was kind of hoping he'd be here tonight, but, you know, because, I mean, we just had a lot of fun playing those scenes together. So I think that helped me kind of get over my nervousness, too, you know, was knowing that, you know, we were kind of doing it together and working the scenes together. It just made it really enjoyable. The strange thing is that you'd think it would be a little easier, and yet there's not a pressure. I mean, there's probably like a positive pressure to be able to, you want to do your best. And, you know, even though that you're encouraged to do, like, you know, if you need a couple of takes to get it, you can do it, but you also feel like you need to get it done because, you know, everything's on a time schedule, you know. With a live show, it's just kind of flying by the seat of your pants, you know. You either love it or you hate it, and I love doing it. So for me, it was great almost being uncomfortable and feeling like, you know, you got a ton of lines you have to memorize, and then they're throwing new scenes at you, and you're like, you know. So, I mean, it was a challenge, you know, but I knew going into it that it would be, because, you know, obviously I'm not a classically trained actor, you know. I haven't done Shakespeare in the park. I haven't done any of that. So, you know, it was just kind of me playing a different version of myself, you know. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that it comes across like I'm doing well at it. You know, I know I had a great time doing it, but sometimes you never know, you know. I think I've kind of caught the bug. Like, I don't, as long as I dug the script, I don't think it would matter what genre it was, to be honest. You know, I mean, I know I'm no De Niro, but at the same time, I would love to try and stretch and do some really cool stuff. And luckily, I have a production company that I started a few years ago, and we're getting ready to kind of break dirt on our first like we're finally getting out of the pre-production stage, which I learned the hard way is a very slow process. And it's looking like so there's a role in it that I've kind of claimed, you know, so that might be my next thing. But yeah, man, I'd love to do more of this stuff, you know, but do it well and try to do different parts, you know. And if it's all horror, that's fine. It's one of my favorite genres. So, you know, I'd love to give my hand at it. So if you're watching, I got a resume, 8x10s. I'll look. I'll pull a tooth. I'll make one gold. I'm not scared of it. I'll put it. You know. I'll put like, you know, clubs, hearts, diamonds, spades. I'll get weird with it. You know, if I have to, I'll do it.
Hello, Dr. Andover.
Fear. So many people stricken with debilitating phobias. Until I found the cure.
You know, the weird thing is that I've always kind of had a very good handle on my own fears, to be honest. And as you get older, you tend to develop new fears. To be depending on the place you find yourself in life. You know, when I was growing, you know, my whole life I've had one giant fear, and that's sharks. And I've always been afraid of sharks. So of course I marry a woman who's obsessed with them. You know, that's just how we roll, I guess. Yes, I have swam with sharks as well. Thanks, honey. But at the same time, you know, that's, you know, living in a landlocked state like Iowa, you know, that you don't really have to face that as much, you know. But then as you get older and then you have kids, and you kind of develop a wholly different type of fear, which is anything happening to your family, you know. And that's the thing that kind of polarizes me, you know. And so as all-encompassing as my irrational fear of sharks is, my only real fear now is anything happening to my family. So, but I'm also the guy that faces my fears on a daily basis. Like, you know, I'm scared of sharks my whole life. I've seen every shark movie ever, including Sharknado, which is rad.
Have you seen the sequel?
I have not seen the sequel, and I submitted titles for it. That's how into it I was. Yeah.
Do you remember what your title was?
Sharknado 2, Shark Harder. So good, right? And they blew right by mine. I sent in 2, and the second one's fairly filthy, which I sent that as a backup just so they would pay attention to the first one. But yeah, they nothing, no feedback. I like Shark Harder was genius, you know?
All of us wear masks every day. Isn't this mask what scares you?
Big weekend for us. Album came out yesterday. It's doing really well. People are charting it to go #1, which I'm not gonna, you know, I knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself. But just the fact that people are talking about it and that it's doing really well, I mean, it's just, it's special, you know, especially this album, because it's a very deeply personal album for us. And then obviously Knotfest, and then, you know, rolling right into the Prepare for Hell tour that we're doing with Korn. And I mean, it's just a really good time for us right now. And it's good in the fact that there are positive things for Slipknot again, you know, because for the last 4 years it's been really dark, you know. And I don't want to say negative, but it's been fairly depressing, you know. We've been dealing with a lot of hard stuff, but we were able to kind of come together and make a fantastic album, in my opinion. The fans seem to dig it. And now we're on the verge of a world tour, so it's good to be talking good things about Slipknot again, and I'm just as excited as the fans are.
Face your fear. You can't hurt it. I was fighting fear and winning. It's not real. Something went wrong. It can't hurt you. It's not real.